So this is a new series of videos on the Apple Watch. If you're like me, most of your life you had a nice watch on your wrist that told you the time and maybe the date if you actually went through the cumbersome steps to set up the date. I don't know if you remember, you had to pull out the stem and turn it one way to get the day to show up and then another way to get the date to month to show up. It was a pain. I usually had a Timex or some such watch and they do their job. And they'd last a while, and I didn't think much about it. But back in 2015, Apple released its watch, and the first time I saw it, it reminded me of Dick Tracy's watch. It was sort of expensive. I think I paid maybe $350, $400 for it, so, it's not for everyone. But if you can afford it, it's a powerful little computer on your wrist. And in this video, we're going to take a look at the Apple Watch so you can make a decision if this thing is for you. Hi, my name is Rich. I make easy-to-follow videos for seniors and beginners on how to use your iPhone and iPad, and now the Apple Watch. Nothing complicated. If it's your first time here, welcome, and if not, welcome back. And if you do find this video helpful, please consider subscribing and tapping the little notification bell. So while I'm sure you've heard of the Apple Watch, today's short video is still just an introduction to the many things you can do with the Apple Watch. But even if you're familiar with it, don't click away just yet. I may touch on a feature you didn't know existed. And if you don't already have an Apple Watch, and if you're trying to decide if you should buy one, there are a few things you need to know. The very first thing is that as of the filming of this video, you must have an iPhone in order to get your Apple Watch to work. All the setup stuff is handled on the iPhone. The second thing you need to know is that Apple Watch has access to a lot of the apps on your iPhone, such as your phone, contacts, calendar, and reminder list. And the little icons on your Apple Watch that you tap to view your apps are called complications. The third thing you need to know is that there are two versions of the Apple Watch, a cellular version and a Wi-Fi version. The cellular version lets you connect to the internet and phone service without having your iPhone around. The Wi-Fi version will do the same thing, but it connects through your iPhone, so you need to have your iPhone in your pocket or somewhere close by. Of course, the cellular version costs more than the Wi-Fi version. I have the cellular version, my wife has the Wi-Fi version. So I think the easiest way to see what the Apple Watch is capable of is for me to just show you. So let's take a look. So this is what your watch looks like. You can have a lot of different watch faces. This is one watch face. If I swipe over, you can see another watch face. If I swipe back, this is the watch face I like. And these little icons on here are called complications. So if I tap on the weather icon, which is showing the temperature right now, it brings up the weather where I am. And you can scroll through and see what the upcoming forecast is for your town. And I have different locations set up, so I can choose Myrtle Beach or Lumberton or Wake Forest, places that I am. And it'll tell you, in this case, rain is starting in 33 minutes. And it's a handy little feature to have. I also have podcasts on here. That's the little podcast icon. I can connect it to my AirPods and just listen to my podcast while I walk. I've absolutely loved that feature. This is text messaging over here. All of my text messages show up. And my watch kind of vibrates a little bit when I get a text message, so I know it and I can just tap it and read it really quickly. Of course, the screen is kind of small, but I have to wear glasses, but I can still see it. And then I can make phone calls too. And I can actually tap on that and call any of my favorites in here, just like that. And you can actually hear the voices coming out of your watch, and you can talk to it that way, talk on the phone that way, or if you have your AirPods in, you can just listen through your AirPods, and that's the great way to make a phone call. But there's so much more to this. This is just what I have on the screen here. You have notifications that you can pull down like that, and if I've received any notifications, they'll show up here. And there's also some other things in here. If I want to see what the battery life is like, if I want to turn off Wi-Fi, I can. I can actually ping my phone. So if I tap on that, my iPhone. It sort of rings where my iPhone is. Sometimes I've misplaced my iPhone. I just go in here on my Apple Watch and touch that, and I can hear it dinging, and then I go find my iPhone. Just an incredibly little handy feature. But the power is also in all the apps that come with it. If you hold the crown down on the side, you get a list of all of your apps right here. Activity, this keeps track of how many steps and miles I've walked today. And you can get a summary of all of this kind of stuff right here, just like that. Very handy. I can also check mail. I can set alarms. I got a little calculator in here. I don't know who uses this calculator because it's kind of small. It works. 55 times 3. Oops. There we go. 9,075. I've also got my calendar in here, and it'll show you what your events are for today. Today I'm done, so I don't have any more. It's got a camera remote, and this is really handy. My iPhone is sitting over on my desk across the way here, and it's looking at the wall, but I can actually tap this and take a picture with my iPhone. So it's a very handy feature to have. You can set your iPhone up away from you on a tripod stand, go get in front of the iPhone, tap your watch, and then pose, and you don't even have to be around your phone to take a picture. So it's a really handy little feature like that. It's got a compass in here. I was big on compasses when I was a kid, but I don't think I use them too much anymore. I've got a list of all my contacts in here, and I can just tap on any one of those and make a phone call, and that's very handy. And of course you can use Siri with Apple Watch as well. You can just ask her to make a phone call or to play a podcast. You don't even have to do this sort of scrolling around like I'm doing here. You can also check your heart rate. There's a lot of health information in here. Of course it's not on, so can't read my heart rate. It's just got the last heart rate on there. You can check your mail. I use maps a lot in my car, and this will vibrate to tell you to turn left or to tell you to turn right. So it's kind of an interesting thing. You can check text messages in here. I keep all of my text messages in here, and you can read them just like I was showing at the beginning. You can control music from it as well. If you've got a HomePod or AirPods or something like that, you can just turn on the music app and listen to whatever you want to listen to. I have news in here, so you can read any of the news. I like a lot of the sports stuff, and I keep it on here. Not that I read it on my my Apple Watch very much, but occasionally I do. This also has a noise meter, and you can put this on, and it'll tell you what the decibel level is where you are and whether it's dangerous or not. I've been at concerts where the music has been pretty loud, and I can just sort of glance down at that and see if it's the kind of thing that would do any kind of long-term damage. Of course, my wife says I can't hear anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. You can also make a phone call on here. Again, you can just go to your favorites and make any phone call that you want. You can view photos. Here's a photo of my grandson. I'll just pull that up, and you can turn the crown and zoom in and out and move it around like that. And you can set your watch faces that way too. You can have all different kinds of watch faces. You can use shortcuts on it. You can look at the stock market return, which is not very good right now. It's got a stopwatch on it if you want to keep track of something with a stopwatch. You can just do it like that. It's got your Apple Wallet in here. So in this case, I was flying to Cincinnati recently, and my airplane ticket was on my watch, and as I approached to check in at the airport, I just held my watch under the scanner and it scanned the QR code and I was in. And that was pretty handy. And of course, again, it's got the weather in here like we were talking about just a little bit ago. So there's all kinds of apps that are on here. Another really important health feature is that if you hold in the side button here, you can power it off, or you can make an emergency call, 911 call. And that's a very handy little feature. It also has fall detection in it as well. So if you fall down and it recognizes that you've fallen, it'll pop up and say, hey, are you okay? Do I need to call 911? So it's an incredibly handy little feature for those of us who are getting a little bit older. But there are just so many things the Apple Watch does. It's definitely worth looking at if it's something that you're interested in. So that's an almost overwhelming amount of information. This is no ordinary watch. I'm a big fan of the weather and health features, and along with text messages, the Apple Watch has just been so handy. And since I have the cellular version, I just pop in my AirPods, connect them to the watch, and listen to music or podcasts, or even make a phone call while I walk. And I don't have to lug around my phone, which is a pain when it's 95 degrees outside. Okay, I think you get the idea. I hope I provided enough information so that you can decide if the Apple Watch is for you. Coming soon will be a series of how-to videos on setting up and using your Apple Watch. Okay, that's it for today. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.